by some NPP party officials to cronies.
This person who has come on the radar that he's got one and has decided to sell it over and above the subsidized price was indeed given one.
We have all the details about a syndicate led by the NPP vice chairman in the Infantiman constituency.
Also, Parliament declares full support to the executive and its efforts to deal decisively and ruthlessly with activities of voter secessionists.
The President, as Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, be assured that he has the full support of the House to deal decisively, ruthlessly with the threat.
We'll take you to the Volta region as the Asogli youth calls on sister traditional states to put their warriors on high alert to fight any attempts by separatist groups to foment trouble.
And later here on Newsnight, lawyers for Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan raised concerns over comments made by NDC running mate Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, which they say puts undue pressure on the court. We have details as the court questions medical doctor who has granted the MP a 14-day leave from all activities.
And in business, Bank of Ghana warns public against activities of money doublers as a hint of imprisonments and fines against persons behind these platforms.
And later in sports,
Court of Arbitration for Sport reduces former GFA President Kwesi Nyantakyi's life ban to 12 years. Details when I join you much later with sports.
And later tonight, Presec League on Basel saw the last sport at the grand finale of the 2020 National Science and Maths Quiz as the five-time winners face opposition from Kumasi Academy, Kumaka, and Abri Presby SHTS. That's coming up later.
In fact, we are celebrating six.
No, right?
We are celebrating six. We are celebrating six.
Wow.
That's the point.
Well, let's see if they'll indeed celebrate six. We know what happened to it is finished. And it was indeed finished. You can join us with your views and comments on these stories on our WhatsApp console 055 1111 997. My name is Ernest Manu.
I am Emefa Apawu. And in our very first story for tonight, Chairman of Parliament's Finance Committee, Dr. Marcus Sebeyeboah, says the Japa royalty deal has not been suspended. Now, he says government has only pulled back to give the special prosecutor space to do his corruption risk assessment. Now, he also insists that the deal is not totally off.
Well, he insists that he will be surprised if the special prosecutor indeed finds something wrong with the deal.
We went ahead and launched the IPO by end September. Then by December we could conclude the whole thing. So that was their timelines as per the movement. That was not the other movement, the movement that was going on. So government can pull back, and when it is satisfied that there's nothing wrong with the deal, relaunch it or launch it. So it didn't have to happen in September. You will recall that we kept on saying that if even the IPO had been launched in September, the whole process would have ended after the elections. So for anybody to suggest that the money was coming in to influence the elections somewhat, it couldn't have been far from the truth, because it takes time from the start, the launch of an IPO to the conclusion of it. So yes, government has pulled the brakes, but the deal is not off.
Now, I was talking to your colleague on the Finance Committee, John Jenapho, whose opinion the signs were not good in the first place. Government is suspending the issuance of the IPO because the market wouldn't have responded positively.
That's what I'm telling you, that the deal has not been suspended per se. What has happened is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has asked for the production of documents and also is conducting a corruption risk assessment to see if government met all the requirements before it launched the IPO. In the face of that, it will be foolhardy to go ahead when such a serious office is conducting a corruption risk assessment. So the people who hold Ghana paper, those who subscribe to our Euro bonds and such, they always stand ready to buy our bonds and such. So I don't think it would have suffered anyway.
you talked about the fact that the proceeds will have come after the elections anyway. Many have wondered as to whether we couldn't have held on until after that, then we push this deal through.
Then Parliament might as well stay home and come back after the elections, isn't it? There's serious business to be done by the state, and they are suggesting because there's an election, the normal business of government should be put on hold. Why are we being asked to converge here today? I'm sure we'll be taking decisions. Some of the agreements that will come before the House will be far in excess of what we can get from this Japadi, isn't it? Yes, the normal business. It is not for nothing that the Constitution says that elections be held 7 December, and even the new government is sworn in after a month. The framers of the Constitution, they say that still government business must go on. Otherwise, when elections are held on the 7th of December, by the 10th, we should be handing over to them. So this argument that, after 7th of December, you shouldn't do anything and wait for the new government to take over, it's absurd. Government business must be done.
Doc, will you be surprised if Martin Amidu finds something wrong with this deal?
I would be surprised. I have worked on this one. I've followed it religiously, and at no step has there been anything untoward. And so that's why the ministry is even saying that, yes, we are submitting ourselves to your corruption risk assessment. We are not going ahead. If anybody was worried, then they should be trying to push this one through in the face of the corruption risk assessment. But government is saying, yes, go ahead, do whatever you want to do. And then when you are done and satisfied yourself, it will even give more confidence to investors. I'm happy that he has stepped in at this stage to do what he's doing.
Do you have any business getting involved in this, writing to Parliament, asking for information?
Yes, the law permits him to do what he's doing. The Office of Special Prosecutors Act that was passed by Parliament gives him the mandate to go into matters like this.
And even the decision to have written to Parliament asking for documentation on that, when he knew at the beginning he could have gone to the Finance Ministry from the start and all.
In any event,
some that has probably delayed whatever investigation.
No. In any event, the writing to Parliament would also give him the documents connected to the decision of Parliament. When Parliament decides here, for example, if you need a copy of the Finance Committee's report, you wouldn't be going to the Ministry of Finance, okay? If you need, for example, a list of those who attended the meeting of the Finance Committee, whether there was quorum, okay, the resolution that was passed, the agreements that were, there are a lot of things. So I think he needed to write to both the Ministry and Parliament. And I'm sure he would also write to other agencies like the Bank of Ghana, the Public Procurement Authority, the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Attorney General's Office. There are a number of institutions that have come together to see this one.
This is not the first time he's investigating any issue, and usually it begins and it drags on for a while. Beyond what timeline do you think, his investigation may look fatal for the deal in terms of
I can talk about Japan. My law is weak. As to the things the special prosecutor does, the manner in which they drag and all that, I'm not.
And for you, that may not even be fatal to the entire deal.
It could be fatal
no matter how
to the extent that government has to run, and then government had programmed that if the inflows from the transaction would have come to hit its balance sheet. Okay, so to the extent that it delays, it drags forever, then it will be hurting government business.
Now, the chairman of the Parliament's Finance Committee, Dr. Marcus Sibeyeboa. Now,
this is very interesting.
Exactly. So earlier, government decided to suspend the launch of the initial public offer of the deal. That's on the London Stock Exchange. Yeah. Now we're hearing that it's just the brakes that have been pulled, but the deal has not been suspended.
And before then, we had heard that actually the deal had been, put on hold or just called off, and civil society. They were very excited about it. I'm wondering if this would change their understanding of this deal.
So let's put that question to Samuel Bekwing. He's a member of the Civil Society Platform on Oil and Gas. We're grateful for your time here on Newsnight. So earlier we had seen a statement from your outfit, for instance, commending government for suspending the deal till we are finished with the special prosecutor's work. Now, hearing from the Finance Committee Chairman, Dr. Marcus Sibeyeboa, does that leave you confused as others are right now? Hello, Mr. Bekwing. It appears we don't have Mr. Samuel Bekwing just yet on the line. We'll try and reconnect to him. He's a member of the civil society platform on oil and gas, and they had earlier raised concerns about this particular deal. They actually even went into meetings with government on this particular issue. Mr. Bekwing, thank you so much for your time here on Newsnight once again. If you can hear me clearly now. So we've just been listening to the chairman of the Finance Committee of Parliament, Dr. Marcus Sibeyeboah. So he says that it's only the brakes that have been pulled. The deal has not been suspended. And I'm asking if it leaves you as confused as it's confused others. It looks like we have a technical challenge, and they will try and rectify that shortly. Once we have the all clear on our telephone lines, we'll get to speak to him on this issue. But we can hear from the chairman of the society itself, Dr. Steve Mantel, and Ernest, he's been encouraging the special prosecutor.
Yes, he's encouraging the special prosecutor to look into the allegations of nepotism when investigating the Ejapa royalties agreement. Now, Dr. Mantel is particularly interested in the appointment of directors and legal advisors for the company. Remember that the minority had said that this is a family and friends deal. Now, his comments come after the Ministry of Finance officially suspended the floating of the company share after Martin Amidu requested to look into the deal, and now we are learning it's just that the brakes have been pulled. But let's hear from Dr. Steve Mantia, who spoke to us earlier.
Issues that have been raised up for me border on corruption or corruption rates, include the manner of appointment of the directors of the company. Concerns have been raised about cronyism, nepotism, and all that. Again, the process itself appears to have been opaque. Again, the manner of appointment of the legal advisors also raises some concerns. Again, nepotism, but also the fact that the process was not very open. Concerns have been raised about the registration of Ejapa itself in the tax haven and all that. So there are so many issues in terms of the concerns raised by citizens.
Does this put the matter to bed for you, Dr. Mantiao?
Not at all, not at all. We actually recognize that not all the issues of concern will be addressed by the investigation of the special prosecutor. There are issues bordering on the basis of the valuation of our royalties for the purpose of this transaction. There are also concerns about the choice of this model.
And so that's Dr. Steve Mantiao, who is the president of the civil society group on the extractive sector. Let's go back onto the phone lines now and speak to Samuel Bekwing. He's a member of the civil society group. I hope that you can hear us, sir. Hello, Mr. Bekwing. Well, we seem to have a problem with the line there. We'll rectify that and speak to Mr. Bekwing on this issue. Seeing that now that the deal is not off the table and that just the brakes have been pulled on it, it'll be interesting to hear whether the opposition has changed or not. Emefa, let's do some other stories. We'll return to this.
Well, so the police in the central region have begun investigations into the sale of subsidized outboard motors by some executive of the NPP in the region. Now, this follows a complaint lodged by the MCE of Ifan Siman against the constituency second vice chairman David Awoche, who has been exposed in an investigative report for using his late uncle's fishing canoe to buy the subsidized outboard motor at 10,000 Ghana cedis and sold it for 16,000. Freelance investigative reporter Manasseh Azuriawene went undercover in the central region and reveals how some of the outboard motors got into wrong hands.
Oh yeah, we are there. Apawu outboard motor ni bi. Why am Koko 11? Nkani yala wajima party for MP before. Na what one wajima afalofon.
Some fishermen in Elmina in August this year complaining about irregularities in the distribution of outboard motors the government subsidized for canoe fishermen. They said party executives of the governing MPP had hijacked the machines and were selling them at prices higher than the subsidized price. These allegations are widespread in the central region but are often dismissed as untrue. I put a team together to go undercover to ascertain the veracity of these claims. The team came across people who were willing to sell the government-subsidized outboard motors in Abuesi in the western region, and Mori, Briwa and Apam in the central region. Prices quoted ranged from 14,000 to 16,000 cedis. At Briwa in the Mfansman municipality, we were led to the constituency women's organizer of the MPP, whom our sources said had some of the machines for sale.
will be one day, you doing now, but dear mamma will be now by it. It's back on, no be so commanding.
When we met her, she said she had sold hers, but directed us to a man who acted as a middleman for another seller of the subsidized machines. The middleman led us where the machine was and insisted that the cost of the machine was 16,000 cedis and nothing less. That machine belonged to the MPP constituency second vice chairman, David Awoche. When the sale was sealed, we requested a receipt and he wrote it on an MPP notepad. When I called David Awoche later, he told me he had used the details of his late uncle's canoe to secure the subsidized outboard motors, even though he wasn't a fisherman.
The canoe is faulty, so it had to be repaired. The money used to buy the outboard motor was borrowed with interest, so we decided to sell the outboard motor and repair the canoe.
When I drew his attention to the issue, the Central Regional Minister, Kwame Nadanka, said he had instructed the Municipal Chief Executive of Mfansaman to act on the matter.
So once this came to my notice, immediately I got in touch with the Municipal Chief Executive for him to give me the background to that. And he did indeed say that this person who has come on the radar, that he's got one and has decided to sell it over and above the subsidized price, was indeed given one. But he was given one meant for relative fishermen. So I instructed that quickly bring this report to the police and let the police go and pick him up.
So that's the Central Regional Minister, Kwame Nadanka, ending that report by freelance journalist, investigative journalist Manasseh Azure Awene. Meanwhile, the Chief Executive of the Coastal Development Authority, Terry Ameshaib, has condemned the action of the second Vice Chairman and backed the call by the Minister for his arrest and prosecution.
This is totally hogwash. It's out of place. Now, if you have an idea, the passion at which the president got us to procure these outboard motors under the IPEP, which is the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program, you will not even appreciate one person trying to even sell a pack, let alone sell an outboard motor at this point. I'm so upset. I'm livid. I mean, you should appreciate the processes we had to go through to even get these outboard motors first of all.
And so that's the director of the Coastal Development Authority, Jerry Ameshaib. Let's go onto the phone lines now and speak to Central Region correspondent. There's been some reaction by the fishermen there. They organized a news conference today on the back of this story that we brought to you. Kojunako, thank you very much for joining us. The fishermen are saying that government has politicized the fisheries sector.
That's true. And they indicated about 2 months ago in August, precisely in August, they organized a press conference shortly after the distribution of these outboard motors. And then they accused government of giving the outboard motors to government cronies and other party persons. But they came and then attacked them that these were false. But today they've been vindicated by the report of Manasseh Azuyawini, an investigative journalist. And they say that government has not dealt with the fishermen very well. So they are urging them to publish the names of all recipients of the outboard motors for the general public to see who and who actually received the outboard motors.
Richard, thank you very much for bringing us update and up to speed on this news conference by fishermen in the Central Region. They are asking government to publish the names of recipients of the outboard motors distributed to fishermen across the country following this investigative piece we brought to you.
And we head to Parliament at this point because today we know that we've been sitting, even though the numbers that came to Parliament today were very poor. Parliament has thrown its support behind the executive to deal decisively with attempts by secessionists to declare an independent Western Togoland. So the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, told MPs on the first day of sitting following that 7-week break that the president can be rest assured that the House supports efforts to keep a united country.
presidential and parliamentary elections come December 7th, which has become part of our democratic ritual. We need to demonstrate to the world that our democracy is strong, is evolving, and it should continue to be the envy of many, not just in Africa, but the world at large. We all must work to preserve the peace, the stability, and the unity of our country. So whilst welcoming members, Mr. Speaker, there is an ugly threat to the stability, sovereignty, and territory of Ghana in the Volta region. The President, as Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, be assured that he has the full support of the House to deal decisively, ruthlessly with the threat to the sovereignty and integrity of our country. We cannot afford a disunited Ghana. I'm sure he is campaigning to lead a united country, just as Excellency John Dramani Mahama is campaigning to lead a united country. He should endeavor to uphold the provisions of the Constitution, particularly Article 4, which guarantees the sovereignty of a united Ghana Republic. We will support the President fully as Commander-in-Chief and President of Ghana to contain the imminent threat to the peace, stability of Ghana, and in particular the people of the Volta region. The threats there can be worrying and can undermine the conduct of free, fair elections throughout Ghana, and in particular in that region.
Well, he wasn't alone on this. The majority leader, Osechi Mensah-Bonsu, in a comment on the issue also said he hopes no member of parliament is behind the agenda to split Ghana.
I don't want to believe that any of us here will buy into that agenda. This country has had a referendum in 1992 and resolves as a nation that we will live together in unity, and we resolve to also protect the stability of this country. The clarion call should go to all of us. It should go to all of us here in assembly as members of parliament. That collective resolve, which happened when we conducted the referendum that approved the 1992 Constitution, still holds. And we should not allow any individuals with ulterior motives to take this nation to the brink. We must live in unity. We must live in stability. We must live as a collective. And Speaker, as a former head of state, General I.K. Echampon used to say, this is our country. We are one people with a common destiny, and we live in one nation. And this nation shall continue in perpetuity. Let nobody attempt to fragment this country. It's not going to happen, and it will not happen. And I believe I speak for all of us.
Majority Leader Chi Mensah-Bonsu, the parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gatu joins us in the studio. It's just the first day and looks like Parliament has a lot to deal with. They've been talking about the elections.
So this was actually the welcome address that was delivered by the majority leader, just as the minority leader and the speaker. And for Mr. Chi Mensah-Bonsu, it was unclear who exactly he was talking to directly, but with regards to the upcoming election, he made the point that people shouldn't treat it as a do-or-die affair.
That we are going to ensure a smooth conduct of elections that will be peaceful, that will be transparent, that will be free and fair. The authorities, the President has also assured that whatever it takes to make these elections peaceful, the Executive is going to assure and indeed ensure that. The Speaker, men and women of goodwill must urge the Commission to do what is needful and appropriate. But it will be most unpatriotic to resort to scaremongering, as some people are trying to do, as if this is the first election that this country is going to have. The Speaker, we have had several elections. Sometimes we must admit we push ourselves a bit to the brink. But Ghana has survived. And we must count on the goodwill and the good conscience of all of us to do what is right, but not to be unnecessarily engaged in scaremongering, as if the heavens are going to cave in on us. It's not true. What needs to be done, however, must be done by all of us as a collective.
So this also came up as part of the leaders' address to the House as they resumed today. But what other issues came up in Parliament today?
So, for example, we're concerned about people and MPs participating in today's proceedings. We know that today a lot of them have been filing their nominations in their various constituencies. Kwame Agboja, for example, makes the argument that the MP shouldn't have come in today. They should have waited a few more days before showing up. But in the Speaker's own address, he encouraged members of Parliament to take the business of the House seriously, even around this time.
And talking about the MP shouldn't have come in today, I'm wondering what the numbers look like today in Parliament.
At the time that business began, a little over 50 of them were present on the floor when real business actually began. Today, the sitting started around after midday, as against the usual 10 o'clock. And just today, almost 30 different items were laid on the floor in order to allow for the processes, in order to get them approved, including the Judicial Service Bill and a number of other bills, as well as various regulations and loan agreements that the House will be looking at in the days ahead.
Did we have the anti-money laundering law also come up, the bill come up in Parliament?
So that is actually a document that was laid on the 14th of August, just before the House went on break the last time. So the Finance Committee is looking at it. Their report is expected on the floor of the House in the course of this week, in order to allow for the necessary deliberation and approval. And the House is sitting for the next 5 weeks, after which they will then take their break and go campaign ahead of the elections. And the main complaint is that there is too much work for them to deal with. The majority leader made the point that there are about 40 different bills that they are expected to look at. They've done the necessary prioritization and brought it down to 10, which would include the anti-money laundering bill that they hope to look at. But even that, he's very much doubtful that they'll be able to look at all of that before they take that break.
Well, let's see how all of that pans out. Thank you very much, Joseph Opoku-Gato, our parliamentary correspondent.
And it appears that the House was heavy on the upcoming elections. Well, in the Upper West region, security agencies across the country are leaving no stone unturned as they keep a close eye on areas considered flashpoints with 2 months to the election. So in the Upper West region, police and electoral officers have identified about 349 polling station flashpoints.
And that's quite huge, if you ask me, because the Upper West region is not such a big region.
349, that's interesting.
349. But the West Central constituency is leading the pack with 50 flashpoints, and it will be interesting to know what happens there. We'll be joined by correspondent Rafiq Salam to help us understand. Now, at a ceremony to launch the Agent for Peace campaign in WA, Deputy Upper West Director of Electoral Commission, Manu, said they are still monitoring to identify more flashpoints and volatile areas.
We have identified all flashpoints and we have submitted the list to IGP through our head office. And we are still monitoring to detect if there will be any additional flashpoints or volatile centers that will be given to update the list of flashpoints that has already been submitted.
And so that's the Deputy Upper West Director of the Electoral Commission, Emmanuel Che. Let's go on to the phone lines now and speak to Rafiq Salam, the man. Wow, he joins us on the line. Rafiq, we're told that the West Central constituency is leading the pack with 50 flashpoints. Help us understand. Tell us a bit about the constituency, the West Central constituency.
I'm speaking to Emmanuel Che, who happens to be the Deputy Director of the Electoral Commission in Upper West region. He told me that they have gotten these numbers or these figures because of the past records, because of the history of these polling stations. He cited an instance like in the Wa municipality where he said that they have gotten 50 flash points. And also these flash points, when you move into the communities, you move into the polling station and you look at the history, they have gotten a history of violence in these polling stations. So, but he didn't stick his neck out on the exact polling station, but he's saying that the Wa municipality is leading the pack, followed by the East Sala West and also that of the Naduli Keleo constituency.
And so we're hearing that apart from the 349 with a Wa Central leading with 50 flashpoints, we're told they're still looking out for more?
Yes, he's saying that considering the primaries that were held by the various political parties, talking about the two major political parties, the NDC and the MPP, they have seen that the situation could change regarding December 7th post. And so he's saying that they are not leaving any stone unturned, and so they are still looking for more discoveries so that in the event that they got more flashpoints, they will report it to the IGP or the Ghana Police Service for them to tackle.
Thank you very much, Rafiq Salam, joining us from WA in the Upper West region. Meanwhile, Regional Police CID DCOP Francis Abuaji-Nyakun assured adequate measures have been put in place to avert the outbreak of violence in the areas identified.
The assurance is that you can even observe for yourself the relative peace that we are enjoying in this dear region. This is a clear testimony that the security agencies are well prepared to police the system before, during, and after December 7th. We put these strategic measures seriously with other sister security agencies, and these measures have been able to seal all the leakages in the system.
That's the Upper West Regional Police Commander, DCOP Francis Abuaji-Nyakun.
Well, in the Eastern region, the police there say they have identified about 70 polling stations as flashpoints. Now, the police observed that the stakes were higher this year, and overzealous supporters of former President Mahama, who is seeking re-election, could potentially clash with their main opponent. Chief Superintendent Raymond Kofi Ezra is the Eastern Regional Acting Operation Police Commander.
So we've prepared. We're both tactical, operational wise, and the legal. So we are aware of the legal aspect that we are supposed to do. The operational wise, we have operational units in the region. We have RDF, we have SWAT, we have the counter-terrorism unit for the region, and the men have also been trained. So there are a lot that were at stake that we are aware of.
But within the region, have you been able to identify the flashpoints within the region?
Yes, we know the flashpoints within the region. Some of those places that we used to say flashpoint, we were using the recent elections for the various parliamentary candidates and others to see whether they will still be flashpoint. Some were not, and new ones have come. So as we begin to dilate and go through it, to be able to, by the time we get to the election, they will be able to now know the exact locations that we are. But we are talking about something between 60 and 70 within the region. And we are saying it's not conclusive.
60 and 70, are they electoral areas or
polling stations?
Very interesting, the Emefa, 70 in the Eastern region, as compared to 349 in the Upper West. I guess one will be wondering what accounts for this, but perhaps there are some socio-economic factors as well. But as part of efforts to assist the drive towards a peaceful elections, the multimedia group has been engaging various personalities. Today, we bring you a peace message from the Information Minister, Kojo Nkrumah.
As we get closer to the December 7 polls, I'd like to share a word of encouragement with you. Campaigning and elections come with a bit of tension and increased debating over policies and programs. We want to encourage you that as we go about campaigning and debating, we do so in civility and with mutual respect. It can be done without resorting to violence. It can be done in a calm, serene environment. So let's have a good debate. Let's have a clean election. And let's have a peaceful process while we do all of it.
Minister Kojo Nkrumah. If you're listening to us from WA Central or from anywhere in the Eastern region, you are committed to peace, send us your message on 055-1111-997. And still ahead here on Newsnight, lawyers for Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan raised concerns over comments made by NDC running mate Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, which they say puts undue pressure on the court. We'll bring you details as the court questions the medical doctor who granted him 14 days of leave. And later,
Prisek Legon is battling for the last spot at the grand finale of the 2020 National Science and Maths Quiz as the 5-time winners face opposition from Kumasi Academy and Ebri Presby SHTS.
In fact, we are celebrating success.
No,
right? We are celebrating success.
Wow.
That's the point.
Interesting.
And they say they are celebrating 6. That's the hashtag. And George,
you are first here.
You were watching before you came.
Right?
Yes.
Well, at the end of round 2, I think was Prisek Legon 40 points, followed by Kumasi Academy Kumaka I mean, that's 12 points. And then Ebri, Presec, our neighbors.
But
rather shocking because Mati Academy.
But anything can happen. So let's
anything
keep
can
our
happen.
fingers
Yeah.
crossed. Let's celebrate 6.
But Emefa, seriously, this is round 2, okay? And round 2 is the speed race. And that's where you lose a point if you get it wrong. So a lot of the schools start off very well from round 1. They get to round 2, lose a lot of points. So if Presec is leading by 40 points,
after round 2,
I guess we'll be celebrating 6.
Let's see how the Blues magic. But what's the business?
I just love the school, the love is deep.
Please give us business.
Well, coming up in business, Bank of Ghana warns public against activities of money doublers as a hint of imprisonment and fines against persons behind these platforms. And some credit reference bureaus highlight the underutilization of the platform, a development that could affect the cost of credit in the country. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Charlie, make I see if Kofi go fit send me some momo. Make I take hold myself small. Simple you.
If you like the caller tune you're about to listen to, press *1 to copy now.
Apawu, I just
Let your caller tune do the talking. Express yourself with your caller tune and win big with MTN. Simply dial *1355# or download your favorite caller tune or copy or renew your already existing caller tune and stand a chance of winning up to 1,000 cedis weekly, 4,000 cedis monthly, and the grand prize of 15,000 Ghana cedis and the MTN caller tunes promo. Send stars to 1355 or dial *1355# to subscribe today. We're good together. We there for you everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Committee 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
My buddy, why you for just the watch when you can be wild proper? When you for scream, shout, she and kata, put your body, get down, fire your body, catch views, drop the mic. Ghana, the time catch where we for change the way we watch. Welcome to Showmax and to Chow Online Entertainment, from movies and series to sports like EPL and La Liga. Feely from Super Sport and more. You feel enjoy them on any device, anytime. Visit showmax.com today. Let's lucky. My guy, it's been a while.
My guy, I'm looking for a safe place in Ghana where I can invest after losing all that money last year. I know you are the investigation minister.
Currently, if you're looking for a safe and dependable fund manager, then it's EDCO. They are the investment banking subsidiary of EcoBank Group, and their fixed income unit trust is the biggest collective investment scheme right here in Ghana. It has generated returns above the treasury bill rate since its inception. You can access your funds anytime without penalties.
Hey, really?
Yes. Access their services at any EcoBank branch. Call 0302-634165 or WhatsApp them on 0595-235065. Also, you can conveniently fund your account using mobile money on all networks, internet banking, or EcoBank mobile app, and many more.
Thank you, Akwesi. I'll call them right away.
Hey, not even a bye-bye. With EDC, financial independence is possible. Terms and conditions apply.
Fellow Ghanaians, small businesses grow Ghana's economy to help make it big. They give us jobs in our communities. Since 2017, the MPP has raised money and given training and contracts to women-owned small businesses. This December, remember your vote will make a difference in securing the jobs of millions of Ghanaians who are working thanks to NAPCO, Planting for Food and Jobs. One district, one factory. Let's protect our progress. Vote NPP. Vote Nana Akufo-Addo for 4 more years to do more for you.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Bank of Ghana is warning the public to desist from engaging in any money doubling, card loading, and credit card loading system. This is because it has not licensed any of these firms and individuals to undertaking these activities. We have more in the following Business Desk report.
According to the Bank of Ghana, these are practices involved by inviting members of the general public through traditional and social media outlets. This is basically to allow them to deposit money with these doublers, card loading and credit loading system through various payments and other channels in return for attractive opportunities. The Bank of Ghana in a statement noted that it is advising the general public that it has not licensed any entity or individuals to engage in these practices. It further added that the said individuals in question and entities commit an offense and will be required to return all funds received. In addition, such individuals and entities will be liable for summary conviction. The bank therefore reminded the public that it's illegal for any person or institution without the bank's approval to engage or advertise these services. The central bank, by this report, is also notifying all media outlets, including radio, television, and online channels, not to permit the adverts coming from these money doublers on their platforms. It is also asking the various media houses to verify the state of the license of these firms from the Bank of Ghana before advertising their products. The regulator is also advising the public they should only place monies with firms that have been licensed by the central bank so that they can be accorded the required protection under the banking laws. For some, this advice may be very important because of what happened in the past, where some individuals did not heed to the advice and warnings from the Bank of Ghana, but when these institutions went down, the Bank of Ghana was called upon to bail them out.
And that's a Business Desk report. Now, some credit reference bureaus have indicated that the full potential of the platform is yet to be realized despite full 8 years of operations. The Bank of Ghana in 2008 rolled out this platform to help improve credit delivery in the country. But Chief Executive of one of the bureaus, XDX Data, Erica Hiafo, tells Joy Business a lot more can be done to drastically help reduce the cost of credit in the country with this platform.
Inquiries that we get is basically when people come to look for a loan, you understand? But they can use it when new people or new consumers come to open an account. You know, so you will see all the demographic information, the person, which is just KYC basically. And then they need to use it also for collection, you see, and they need to use it for trace. And some people that have taken finance, funds, and then you can't see them anymore. They probably change their mobile numbers, addresses, and stuff. But chances are, if they take another loan, it will be on our database. Like I said, you need to use it for analysis, so comparative analysis with banks your size, how your portfolios are doing within your bank and branches, and what the portfolio is doing compared to the whole financial space. So all that's not being done because those analyses are the ones that are going to drive the prices down.
Erica Hiafo is the Chief Executive of XDX Data Ghana. Extractive analyst Dr. Steve Manteya believes a lot more needs to be done to ensure the country benefits more from its natural resources. According to him, this passing the laws is not enough to address these problems.
Inquiries that we get is basically
the modifications to the law that will give effect to this policy has not been made. And yet we've consistently drawn attention of the state to the need to actually effect changes to the regulations to give effect to this law. So most of the companies were actually holding on to our money for as long as 3 months before making payments in respect of mineral royalties. The only company that has consistently, voluntarily responded to the announcement is Newmont. Newmont has been paying consistently on monthly basis. The rest, they choose when to pay. And you see, when you recognize the time value of money, you will not allow a company to hold on money.
Extractive analyst Dr. Steve Manti Yao. Accounting and auditing firm KPMG has highlighted that it's committed to supporting Multimedia Group and its platforms to help improve upon financial reporting. Kwame Sapon, a partner at KPMG, gave this assurance during a short ceremony to award certificate to Joy Business team for undertaking training course in financial reporting. According to him, it's a humbling opportunity to train this team on finance, tax, insurance to help better equip them on their reporting issues.
What I think makes the person unique or kind of make you understand as a KPMG president is the values that we try to apply consistently. And for me, one of the big ones is for better, which means that we serve our community, we do good for people, and we try to make an impact. So if we've been able to partner you and be able to assist you learn something that you're not so familiar with, such as finance, tax, insurance, it's definitely humbling that we've been able to take a part in this. So thank you for the opportunity. As we've always availed ourselves, we'll continue to avail ourselves to support the whole process and ensure that we all grow together.
Kwame Sapong is a partner and lead internal audit risk management at accounting firm KPMG. To the stock market, if you are a shareholder in Famok, today was up by a pesewa to close at 1 Ghana cedis, 5 pesos. And that's all for business on Newsnight, and it has to be a blue night. You know,
if you can't beat them, you join them.
You know, and it's about the blue magic. You understand me? And you know,
so the update. Let me tell listeners first, George.
Yeah.
So the update is that at the end of round 3, Frisek is leading by 50 marks. We have Kumasi Academy 19 and Ebri Presby SHT at 8, and so it means that Frisek got a perfect score for the problem of the day, which is 10 marks.
Blue.
We'll get details shortly when we join Maxwell Agbagba. We'll take your comments also right after this.
This bulletin is live in the Volta region on Jubilee Radio Keta, Volta Premier and Kekali Radio in Ho, Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, Pando FM in Pando, Fafa Radio in Joje, Radio Hogba in Angloga, Klenam Radio Bato, Victory FM Aflao. In the Eastern region, we're on K-Poly Radio in Koforidua. In the Northern region, we're on Bishara Radio, Radio 123 and Radio Justice in Tamale. And in Savannah region, we're on Inkelege FM in Bole. In the Upper East region, we're live on A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga and Radio Fumbese in Fumbese. In Upper West, we're live on Radio Sunmale in Wa, Radio Freed in Nandom, Radio Wa in Wa, and Bolu FM in Bolu. In the Bono East region, we're on Gaskia FM in Techiman. In Bono region, we're on Sky FM and Parrot FM in Sunyai. Central region, we're live on ATL FM in Cape Coast. And in the Western region, we're on Radio Max in Takrady.
This is Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. It's also live on myjoyonline.com. If you're watching us on Facebook also, this is a good time to also leave your comments there. But you've sent us messages via WhatsApp is 055-1111-997. We'll go through a few of them. Walanyo in Akwetia says, we are so thankful that the president submitted his forms and promised to make sure the election is conducted in a peaceful, free and fair manner. Let's all stick to the president's promise to supervise credible elections. And we know the former president, John Dramani Mahama, will also be submitting his forms tomorrow to the General Secretary of the party.
Because he's not in the region. And Kofi Seidu says, why should outboard motors be given to NPP executives? Are all NPP members in the fishing communities fishermen? Kofi comes again to say this investigative piece by Manasa Zuriawene concerning the motors will not see the light of day. I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, so AU Farouk in Tamale says, yes, we need free and fair elections and no rigging. The EC must ensure everything goes on well for peaceful outcome. Eric Kwao in Aflao says the Electoral Commission should be fair in the upcoming elections and not to bring conflict between political actors.
And Abochi Philip in Keta says selling of outboard motors in our coastal areas is too rampant. You make an allegation there, which we'll look at, but you continue to say that, in fact, fishermen are suffering under the Nana Addo government. And those are a few of your comments you sent to us here on Newsnight.
We head to the courts now, and lawyers for Asin Central MP Kennedy Ejapon have raised concerns over comments made by NDC running mate Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, which they say puts undue pressure on the court. Professor Agyeman, while interacting with officials of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, called for the law to deal with the MP as was done in the case of the Muntie 3. Mr. Ejapon's lawyers today raised the matter as they pushed to have the court grant them an in-camera hearing. Court correspondent Joseph Akable reports.
If you say somebody has scandalized the law court and you allow the process to go through, the person has apologized, has done everything. The law took its course. The person was fined, the person was sentenced, the person is in prison. You say, okay, clemency. It is part of the judicial system to apply for clemency. And people pretend they don't understand why there should be a petition. Another person does the same thing, also scandalizes the court, and just says, oh, he's come to apologize, so it's okay. That is corruption.
These remarks by the NDC's Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman formed part of the basis of the MP's lawyers' push for an in-camera hearing. A member of the legal team, Afenyo Markin, said this puts pressure on the court and subjects it to what he called, quote, gallery interpretation, end quote. This was when Dr. Ken Addo, who has granted the MP a 14-day excuse duty, addressed the court. Justice Wuni, however, rejected the request for an in-camera hearing. The MP is to show up in court and defend comments he made, which the court considers as amounting to contempt. But the MP has so far been absent, his lawyers explaining he's unwell. In a testimony lasting well over 60 minutes, Dr. Addo said the MP's condition was unusual. This, according to him, was because of a medication he placed the MP on for 14 days. He told the court this is what accounted for the excuse duty. Justice Wuni then raised issues with the document signed by the doctor. First was the fact that the document did not have an outpatient department number, aside from pointing out that the MP's age is not stated on the document, even though it provides for that. Dr. Addo first explained that he issued a note on an outpatient basis. This, he said, was after he had detained the MP on September 25 and discharged him on September 26. On the MP's age, the doctor said he opted to write adult just so his age is not noticed by anyone who sees the documents. Justice Wuni pointed out that the MP is a public figure whose age is known. He added that he was surprised the age was not written, even though the form required that it is written. Dr. Addo agreed with the judge. The medical doctor then stated further that he granted the MP 14 days without a review because it was necessary. While adjourning the case, Justice Wuni said, quote, as professionals, as much as possible in the interest of this dear nation of ours, we must do what is right, ethical, so as to lift this country to higher heights, end quote. The case has been adjourned indefinitely.
Joseph Akable with that report from court. It's now time for sports, and Baba Tendo joins us from London. Hello, Babs.
Hi, Ernest. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, Baba. Yourself?
I'm good. I know you are happy because it's a blue day, isn't it?
Yes, I'm happy. I can't beat them, so I have to join them.
Social distancing.
What do you have first?
The Court of Arbitration for Sports, CAS, has reduced Kwesi Nyantakyi's life ban to 12 years. The ban has been reduced following a successful appeal by the former Ghana Football Association boss. Joyce Pozoreku Ampofo has more.
FIFA banned Nyantakyi for breaking bribery and corruption rules in 2018. And according to FIFA, he also broke conflict of interest rules. Aside from the ban, he was fined £390,000 as Nyantakyi was pictured taking $65,000 from an undercover reporter. Getting close to his end time, Nyantakyi was one of Africa's most powerful football figures. He was vice president of the Confederations of African Football and a member of the FIFA Council. He was also Ghana Football Association president and the West African Football Union president. He resigned from all positions before the ban was imposed on him by the World Football Governing Body.
Away from that, Arsenal midfielder Mesut Ozil has offered to pay the salary of Jerry Key, the man who plays the role of club mascot Ganesteros. On Monday, the Gunners, that's Arsenal, announced that Key, who has been part of the matchday experience at Arsenal for 27 years, was one of 55 redundancies. And this is what Mesut Ozil put on Twitter, and quote, I was so sad that Jerry Key, aka our famous and loyal mascot, Ganesteros, an integral part of our club, was being made redundant after 27 years. as such, I'm offering to reimburse Arsenal with the full salary of our big green guy as long as I will be an Arsenal player, so Jerry can continue his job that he loves so much. End of quote. Arsenal said they had to make staff redundant because of the financial impact of the coronavirus pandemic. The Ghana's first team players and head coach Mikel Arteta all agreed to a 12.5% pay cut in April. The club's executive team also agreed to waive more than a third of their salaries over the next 12 months. And quickly in tennis, an investigation has begun into alleged match fixing in a French Open women's doubles first round match. This is according to the Paris prosecutor's office. Officials began investigating on October 1 after suspicions of organized fraud and corruption in sport. A source close to the investigation says that the inquiry focuses on Andrea Mitu and Patricia Maria Teague versus Yana Sizikova and Madison Brengel. Russian Sizikova and American Brengel lost 7-6, 6-4 to the Romanians. Alexei Selivanenko, vice president of the Russian Tennis Federation, has told the Championat News website on Sunday in response to local reports on the matter, quote, "As long as there are no official documents, it's too early to comment on anything. Tennis has a zero-tolerance policy for cases of this kind." Log on to myjoyonline.com/sports for more stories. You are up to date in the world of sport. I'm Baba Tando.
Thank you very much, Baba, for bringing us the latest in the world of sports.
Now, Ghana first recorded its first case of coronavirus on March 12, and 7 months down the line, the effects of the pandemic is beginning to get clear. According to President Akufo-Addo, after a thorough assessment, government identified job losses, steep decline in revenue, and reduction in productivity as areas hardest hit by the pandemic. He's been launching a post-COVID-19 rebuilding effort, and he's been speaking about it.
Every country has thus been required to implement various fiscal measures to mitigate the horrendous adverse effects. As world leaders, this is the time to build bridges, foster unity, and create business opportunities for our respective citizens and countries, thereby putting our countries onto the path of development, progress, and prosperity once again. For us in Ghana, prior to the onset of the pandemic, we had in the last 3 years been acknowledged as one of the fastest growing economies not only in Africa, but also in the world, with GDP growth rates averaging at 7% per annum. We achieved modest success at formalizing the Ghanaian economy and making the business and investment climate in the country one of the most favorable on the continent.
President Akufo-Addo.
And it's now time to take you to the R.S. Amegashi Auditorium at the University of Ghana and bring you the latest. Sounding like a broken record, but Maxwell will tell us. Hello, Maxwell. Bring us up to speed. It's round 4 over.
Yes, round 4 is over, Ernest, and we're just getting the results from the quiz mistress. But we have the results for round 3. And Ernest, at the end of round 3, just like how Evans said it during the elections, at this point, it is statistically impossible for any of the competing schools to overtake Presec Legon.
Blue magic is working.
The blue magic is working. And at the end of round 3, Presec Legon, they have 50 points. Kumasi Academy has 19 points. And the Ebri Presby Senior High Technical School, they have 8 points. So Presec Legon 50 points, Kumasi Academy 19 points, and Ebri Senior High Technical School 8 points. Agenda, let's celebrate 6 is on course, and the gentlemen in the auditorium are really excited that they're going to make it to the grand finale on Thursday. But earlier though, we had, that's the second semi-final contest, we had Adisado College. They beat Achimota School with just 1 point. You know, Adisado College, they've been to the final, the grand finale many times. They made it again this time around with just 1 point. At the end of the contest, it was Adisado College 21 points, Achimota School 20 points, Keta Senior High Technical School 17 points. Let me say that it was really difficult to tell which school was going to win the contest because at the point, Keta Senior High Technical School, they were leading. At the point, it was Achimota School. We really couldn't tell until the last round before, you know, we had the winner.
Yeah, we were watching in the newsroom. Proper definition of a nail-biting contest.
Charlie.
And
Charlie.
the last two riddles, I think, settled the day. And it was a bad one for Achimota.
Exactly. The two super subs today, the two super subs for Adesado College and then Achimota School. Well, a lot of the students really did not know what was happening because before one of the super subs for Adesado College, Mbebo was actually brought on. The students were outside singing Mbebo, Mbebo, Mbebo. He came on and things really did not go so well, but he managed to recover in the fifth round. Also for Ifwa and South.
So we are likely to see a final of what Presec, Adesado.
Okay, so I can confidently say that Presec Legon, they've made it to the grand finale. And they will be meeting Opokuwari School. Opokuwari School today have qualified to the grand finale. And then we have the second school at Adesado College. So the grand finale on Thursday will be Presec Legon at Adesado College. And then we have Opokuwari School.
Very interesting there. And of course, the grand finale will be live on Joy News. And so you just have to stay glued to your set and to all our platforms. The National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service with support from APSA. The broadcast of the quiz is by Joy News, your most credible news source, and it's supported by Bright SHS, Kukrantumi DBS Color Link Plus, Adonko Hand Sanitizer, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. That's it for the bulletin. My name is Ernest Manu.
And I am Emefa. Apawu. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com.